Yeah, welcome back to the PMdistilled talks. Today we will discuss about uh, how to conduct sprint review meetings very effectively. So we started with the product backlog, then sprint planning meeting, sprint backlogs, then sprinting. So at the end of the sprint, we have the sprint review meeting. So typically, the sprint review meeting is attended by the product owner, the scrum master, the developers, and any other stakeholder who is interested to see the increment, the product increment. Sometimes CTOs, sometimes delivery heads, sometimes customer representatives. So any stakeholder who has an interest to see the increment of the product, they are welcome to attend the sprint review meeting. Uh, and what really happens during the sprint review meeting? Basically, the product is demonstrated. The increment of the product is demonstrated. So again, we are not showing the screenshot. The product, the increment of the product must run, and it is verified against the acceptance criteria. So the definition of done or the acceptance criteria for each feature is very, very important to run a successful sprint review meeting. Otherwise, it will get into uh, discussions around whether this feature is okay or not, whether this increment is okay or not. But then it becomes very professional if you can give the definition of done or the acceptance criteria to the developers upfront. And when they say it is done, the output is verified against the definition of done, sorry, or the acceptance criteria. So that's how it is done. Otherwise, it will revolve around opinions and stuff like that. Sometimes the developers can get vexed because anybody can say anything to the increment they have developed. So an essence of mutual respect between other stakeholders and the developers is the definition of done at the prior to the development, and again during the sprint review meeting. We should verify against the predefined definition of done. So if all the features have cleared or met the definition of done, then we say that sprint is successful. At the same time, uh, feedbacks like how this feature can be enhanced and stuff like that, that is encouraged, but then that should not be a determinant of the success and failure of the sprint. That should be purely driven by the definition of done or the acceptance criteria, which is already defined. And another key aspect is see all the participants of the sprint review meeting. They must be given an orientation of Scrum before they come to the sprint review meeting because they should know the purpose, the do's and don'ts, and they should have a high level understanding of the sprint review meeting. Why I'm saying this is because I have had an experience where the CTO, the chief technology officer of the company, wanted to attend a sprint review meeting, but then he did not have much orientation on Scrum. So he just got into the sprint review meeting and then used that meeting as some sort of design review meeting because he did not know much about Scrum, or nobody gave him orientation to the sprint review meeting or the do's and don'ts of sprint review meeting. Uh, and again, see, in Scrum, we are not giving too much emphasis for success and failure. Sprints can fail. That means we have planned for 10 story points, we achieved only 9. Sprint can fail. Status of the sprint can be failure, but still the quality of the deliverables and the productivity of the team can be much, much better than the traditional way of doing things. And sprint after sprint, if the productivity of the team is improving, then it is okay. Failures can be justified as long as sprint failures doesn't become a pattern. So once in a while, a sprint failure is good because that gives us confidence about the reporting of status. If all sprints are successful, immediately I start suspecting the whole process because there is something wrong somewhere. So fast failures or the early sprint failures are good because we have sufficient time to recover. Uh, so that environment must be set by the product owner, and that orientation must be given to all stakeholders who are participating in the sprint review meeting. Otherwise, the spirit of Scrum will be lost and people can get demotivated. Tomorrow we'll discuss more about sprint retrospective meeting, which is the final ceremony of a sprint. So it starts with sprint planning, then sprinting, then daily scrum meeting, then sprint reviews, and the final ceremony is the sprint retrospective, which we'll discuss in the upcoming session. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.